You've been very outspoken, Eddie Jones.
Yes.
Yeah.
About your disgust at England letting him go 9 months ahead of a World Cup. His record, though, 5 wins in the last 12. England embarrassed in the last couple of Six Nations. Surely that was the only thing left.
I would say that, well, first, we actually interviewed a couple of people from the RFU yesterday, and it was interesting to get their take on it. I think my personal view is, why do it 9 months? I mean, look, there's 2 things. First of all, I think Steve Borthwick's brilliant. And actually, ironically, if you're going to replace Eddie Jones with anyone, I think he'd be the best man to do the job. I thought the other names that were mooted were no good. I like the guy from the Crusaders, brilliant, has absolutely no international experience. Right, Warren Gatland was never going to come back to England when the opportunity to go back to Wales was there. There was a couple of other England coaches and a couple of international people, but I just don't think they were the right fit. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword for me because I think they've actually replaced them with a coaching team that can really do some amazing things with England. I think the personal thing about Eddie is, he's got, 90% win record at World Cups, been to 3 finals, won 1, lost 2. I mean, again, everyone goes, he's a consultant coach in South Africa. Listen, if you know Eddie Jones, he would never play a bit part, so that's sort of bollocks. And he took Japan to the most historic victory against South Africa ever and the most calculated performance that we've seen from a team against South Africa. They just pulled them apart with a tactical masterclass. So I'm disappointed for him. I'm disappointed because I think that my opinion was it was done by the media. I thought the media had an agenda. I think there was a lot of vitriol from a lot of guys who didn't understand what he was trying to do. I thought there was a lot of people on the outside peering through opaque windows, trying to guess what was going on and formulating opinions. I think guys like Clive Woodward, who obviously have an axe to grind, is desperate for this high-performance role that, he's never going to get. He hasn't coached rugby since 2005, but yeah, he's got such an opinion, and it's very clear that he's got a personal vendetta with Eddie. I like both Clive and Eddie. I think I've got utmost respect for Clive. My concern is that you can't continuously keep taking personal vendettas, use your Daily Mail column to do that, because people who know nothing about rugby look up to people like him. And then you look at the other media, and it was very much a toxic-driven thing to get rid of him. Every player I spoke to, and I spoke to a lot of them, thought he was brilliant and had absolutely no problems with him. And that, for me, is the issue.
currently involved.
We're currently involved. Again, look, bear in mind, so I had 5 England coaches in my career. Did I have a same relationship with Eddie, with the rest of them like I did with Eddie? No. Did I have mutual respect? Yes. Would I have turned around and gone, I don't think some of them were great? Yes. Would other players have gone, they're the best thing since sliced bread? Of course.
Yeah.
Are there people that don't like Eddie? Yes. Has he got things right all the time? No. Do more people like him than dislike him? Yes. And was England the best environment I'd ever worked with in comparison to those other 5 who were lauded as some great coaches? 100%, and that's all I can go with.
But with the results that he had, surely losing all the way up to that isn't part of the fucking plan.
No, it's not. And I think the issue is that in 2018 they had a similar situation. The difference was the autumn. They lost that New Zealand by 1 point, beat Australia, South Africa, and I think was it Fiji or someone else, and that's what kept him in. Then they went and did. Then they finished second in the Six Nations, rolled straight into the World Cup. The problem was this time round they didn't have the momentum in the autumn, and the autumns were always Eddie's get out of jail free card. My concern was, why do it? Either do it a while ago or do it before, but don't do it now, because I don't believe the players were consulted. Now, when I interviewed Bill Sweeney yesterday, he says they were consulted, and some said disappointed that Eddie's going because he's a good man, but they're confident that it's the right decision. I don't know. That's not what I've heard. That's not what I speak to any of them, current players, but that's the point. I think it's sad for Eddie, and the real reality is that Eddie's going to end up coaching Australia in the semi-final, quarter-final against England in the World Cup because he's got no compete clause.
Not this one coming up.
Yes, this one coming up.
Nah.
Rennie's just come out though and said, "I'm not."
No
fine.
way.
Well, I would say that Rennie's under pressure. Rennie loses a few more games. Rennie's going to be picking up the phone to Eddie Jones. Why would you not want a man who's taken Australia to World Cup, who's got the best record?
Yes, I don't think the personalities will match.
No, maybe not, because you know him, because he's Rennie's brilliant, isn't he?
Yeah,
because he went to. There was somewhere where was it Glasgow? Maybe
he was up at Glasgow.
Yeah, there was someone I was. I think I went to go maybe sign with him, whether it was at Glasgow or
talk
to
you did. There was chat about you coming to Glasgow.
And you quashed that nicely, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well done.
No, we would have worked together in the back row. We all play all 3 positions, don't we? So it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
But he,
was that serious? At one point, you nearly signed for Glasgow. I remember they were talking about that.
Again, Ulster, I almost did something for Ulster, and then for Glasgow, I don't know why what changed or why I didn't or what year it was. I can't remember now, but I just remember because my agent spoke very highly of Dave Rennie. He said he was brilliant. He was a really good guy. People actually really liked him. Yeah. So I'm just, again, that's talking about Eddie with Australia. It's just a point that could potentially happen because there isn't a no-compete clause. And I wouldn't say we've seen the last of him. But I think England are in great hands. I just think it was just a bit of a sad way to do it because, who are you going to replace him with? And you replace him with someone I think is the best. But why? Eddie's a World Cup animal.
Yeah, I think the final now in the coffin was that New Zealand game where they were drawing and they kicked the ball out. I think people went, what the fuck are they doing there? Like, I haven't seen that in an international team. You try and win the game. There's nothing in it. But
why do you reckon he changes his backroom staff so much?
Well, I think that actually being
completely. Gives them a fucking, what was it, a sausage instead of a steak?
Yeah.
He plays mind games.
I'll be honest with you, okay, and this is, again, I've mentioned the book a few times, apologise, I'm not sorry. That's why he managed to lure me on the podcast. But the honest answer is, I think firstly, when you're a sportsman or a coach or anything in life, you're always led to believe that you can be whatever you want to be and you're really successful and you think you can deal with pressure. You think you can deal with intensity. Men especially have a massive ego. They're not used to being told they're not good enough. And when you're in an international coach, you think you're the shit. The fact of the matter is when Eddie first came in, he said, "Do you know what? Some of these players in this room aren't going to make it to the World Cup. Somebody with me. Some of the coaches aren't going to make it with me. Some of the physios aren't going to make it with me." Now, how many people do you know in your club environments that you look at them and go, "How the fuck did they get this job?" And they're in positions of power. And players you look at, or players you look at and go, "Do you know what? You haven't got the attitude. You haven't got the intensity. Every time the pressure comes on, you point fingers at everybody else." We all know that. But they don't know that. They probably don't know themselves. If you were to go, "Do you know what? Every time I ask you made a mistake, you say it's someone else's fault. How dare you? What do you mean?" They kick off. "Fuck off, mate." The fact is that some of those coaches weren't good enough. Some of those coaches, people could not take the pressure. Did Eddie, did he always handle it well? No. But the fact of the matter is they weren't good enough. To be honest with you, some of the gashest physios I've worked with have been around national teams. So I just think the belief is you've got the best people in the job, and some people just are never going to get any better. So what's worse? Breaking someone's illusion or moving on?
Let's talk about another England head coach you've played under, and a second row leader as well in that way, and Martin Johnson, who apparently had some quite weird motivational methods as we're on the subject. Can you take us through his alternative techniques?
Yeah, so we had, it's a weird one. They quite liked a motivational video back in the day, right? As you lads will probably know, it can go quite horribly wrong, a motivational video.
Well, I've been showed a porno before a match before.
Have you?
Genuine?
Saying that would get you up for it.
It does. So, ironically, if you train while watching,
it just felt like
porn, it boosts testosterone. Apparently.
That was well, and it just felt like what so I can imagine.
Do that then, guys.
Yeah. A bit hard to do RDL with a boner.
But it's just sort of.
Oh, England.
I can imagine it's like watching porn with your mum and dad. That's what it would have felt like.
Scantily clad women around. Yeah, but I think Bath did something like that. At some
we
point.
did that. England did that. They used to put on the cheerleader. The Miami Dolphins cheerleader videos. Put them on in the gym, playing in the background. I don't know what the science behind it was, but it looked better than.
But go on. So what are Jonos?
No, so Jono loved. They loved.
Put a spin on it if you need to.
Yeah, well, no, they loved a. They got it like they thought it was. They thought it was a good idea to do one of them where, the first one was, it was a remix to the 300. Hold the line, hold right.
Max at the front.
Right, yeah, Max at the front. Right. Yeah, with you're like that guy who couldn't lift his shield.
Every artist, like under the neck of the artist.
I'm like, Max, lift your shield, like
a king.
Yeah. You're like, I hope you live forever. You're like, no. Yeah, that's you. You are literally like him, like lift your shield, Max.
Shoulder to thigh, the artist. Yeah, you're just
you're a hole in the line. You're like a cocktail stick. You can't even fucking stab anyone with it. Such niche references. Who knew?
Yeah, so well we love 300.
Remix to 300, right? And it was, and they put into it like hold with like what's his name, Gerard Butler, going hold, and then it was Ma Nonu.
Oh no.
Sidestepping through everyone, and it was like really weird because it was like hold the line and Ma Nonu, but Ma Nonu looked unbelievable. So I basically, I came out of it and was like, fuck, New Zealand are amazing, right? There wasn't any clips of us. And when they started playing it, Joe Worsley just fell on the floor, burst into like hysterical laugh. The roar went up. They were in the room going, right, lads, we've motivated you. They're going to be so ready for it. And they heard us hysterically laughing. And the video guy was on like suicide watch. They confiscated his like laptop, shoelaces and belt because they were like, he was like, well, we were obviously going, mate, what the fuck was that? But the worst one was, So we playing New Zealand. They obviously thought we just, you know, I think the coaches could have done well by not talking about New Zealand, probably would have helped us. But anyway, all week we're talking about New Zealand, and they put on this video in team run. So we're at Twickenham Stadium, all the kit's laid out, you know, for the warm-up, and they come in.
25 grand stacked up in your spot.
Yeah, in a kit bag in a brown envelope.
Oh, God.
No, tax man, it wasn't a brown envelope, sadly. And we used to, what do they give you? Like a sporran full of porridge? Sporran full of oats and a Mars bar.
Pretty much. With Tom Evans on the front.
Yeah.
Tom Evans on the front.
Quaker on a Quaker.
Yeah, he's on the front of the fucking
oats.
porridge bar.
A load of those Scottish £10 notes that nobody wants. A sack of them, can't get rid of them.
He's him.
Yeah. Anyway, so they come in and they go, right, lads, not being funny, but big game against New Zealand. Done a bit of video. Hit it.
Oh,
right?
no.
And they play this video on the big screen, and basically it goes England versus New Zealand, November the 12th, 2000, whatever, right? And it's the opening scene from Goodfellas, or one of the scenes in Goodfellas, where, you know, the guy, one of the neighbours gropes one of the guy's wives, Ray Liotta's wife. And he basically, but there's no sound. So we're sitting there, it's all quiet, and you see him walk up, right? Get a gun, pistol whip this guy to the floor. Wow, smash it. And we were like that, what the fuck, right? Smash him to the floor, knocks him out, right?
That's a good scene.
Says something to him, and then it goes, bring the violence. England versus New Zealand, right? And the coach will look at this, right? Go out. And obviously you could tell that there was a fault. There was no sound to it. So anyway, so we've run out. And I went, well, I'm confused, right? And it was like, what do you mean? I went, well, do I need to bring a fucking gun tomorrow to play New Zealand? And I went, Wig. I went to Graham Round. She's like, Graham, do I need a gun? Shut the fuck up. They were all on edge because they'd obviously fucked the whole thing. I was like, do I need to bring a shooter? And as I said that, Borth is like, shoulders are going. And they've obviously fucked it. So you would have think, right, we're going to bin that. We're going to bin that idea. Nah. Night for the day of the game, on the bus. Hit it. Same thing, but with sound this time. And it's like, and I honestly was like, and the best thing is we haven't got pumped by 35 fucking points. Bring the violence. I was like, what is beating someone to sort of incoherence with the bottom of a pistol got to do with motivating for a game?
All those videos they do, and if the music's off a little bit, or that they're like trying to turn it up as it started, and they missed the beginning, you can't hear it. You're like, what